I'm Em. I help people energetically and emotionally move on from their exes. And today I want to talk about a constraint that I see show up a lot. And a constraint is essentially an energy that some people come into this life with. And that is the feeling of there's something wrong with me. And I see this time and time again in relationships. And I see it a lot in sensitive people, myself included. I used to really feel this. So, just to give you a really simple example of how this can show up, if you are very, describe yourself as somebody who's very sensitive, it might be that somebody makes a comment about your appearance, or somebody comments about what you're doing, or it can feel like people are attacking you or constantly berating you. I have a little bit of news, and as you know, I work with the relationship to self, and anything that's happening on the outside is essentially a reflection of what's happening on the inside. So if you feel that someone's attacking you, if you feel like somebody's constantly putting you down, I want to just invite you to feel into this, and that is the fact that you may think that there's something wrong with you. Deep down, your interpretation of that might be connected to not feeling enough or feeling less than, but ultimately it comes down to people are telling me things about myself and it's making me feel like there's something wrong with me, where in fact people are just saying what they're saying. People are just saying what they're saying, but it's because you believe something about yourself. And that is why we live through this constraint of there's something wrong with me. So the way that I describe it is, imagine you have a see-through contact lens, like a giant contact lens that you walk around on. And in that contact lens is just this vision of your life, which is there is something wrong with me. So as you move around through life and go through your day, you will find things, you will find evidence to reflect back at you that there's something wrong with you. It might be you look in the mirror and you go, oh my goodness, my body isn't the way it should be, da 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 da. Or somebody makes a comment about your work and you're like, oh, I've done something wrong. There's something wrong with me. I haven't done it in the proper way. It can play out in anxiety where you're literally on tenterhooks and you're literally saying to yourself, like, I can't get anything wrong. Like, I can't do anything wrong. Otherwise it's going to show that there's something wrong with me. Excuse me. It can even be in your finances as well, where you're like, I just can't get beyond this certain point when it comes to finances. There's something wrong with me. So, like I said, it shows up in your outer world, what's going on in your inner world. And here is the question to ask yourself, which is actually a lot of Byron Katie's work. I don't know if you've heard of her or not, but Byron Katie's an amazing healer, spiritual therapist, amazing lady. And she asks you, so if I was to ask you right now, is it true that there is something wrong with you? Like, is it true? And you're going to come to whatever answer that is. And so the next question I would ask using Byron Katie's work is it absolutely true that there's something wrong with you? And when you feel into that, like in the absolute, doesn't matter what your body looks like, doesn't matter what your finances are like or whatever, like, is it absolutely true that there's something wrong with you? And the answer is always going to be no. And in that relief comes the space and a bit of peace and probably an exhale and a bit of release. And the next thing to ask yourself then is, well, who do I get to be? Who do I get to be if I'm no longer living in the lie of there's something wrong with me? And just feel into that. Like, for example, when I broke through this constraint, I was like, well, I can be confident. I can be fun. I can be all of me. I can, love my body and move my body because I want to, not because I think there's something wrong with me. I can show up and be a bit loud in friendship circles. I can actually show up and be seen. And so it's a beautiful constraint to break through, because when you break through, there is a lot of freedom and peace and ease on the other side of it. And then it's just the practice of reminding yourself that that's who you are. and not through affirmations, because I personally have never been a huge fan of affirmations. I really believe like affirmations is like you're feeling bad and then you like look in the mirror and you're like, I feel good, and you're forcing it, and it's not true. So instead, like when you realize it's all a lie and it's something that's just been learned, what you actually get to do is you actually get to say I am statements. So it's like I am freedom and I am confident and I am, I am a little bit loud sometimes, and that's okay because you're speaking from the very essence of you, not from this little physical construct, called Emma. So I'll leave that with you today, but just know there's nothing wrong with you. There never has been. In your life, you have just from whatever story, whatever childhood you've grown up in, you've just received a program that there's something wrong with you, and it's absolutely not true. It's an absolute lie. And when you realize that, you get to step into freedom, get to step into love and possibility, and that's really who you are. If you want to find out more, just drop me a message. My details are in the video below. I love helping people break through this and clearing their energy. And when you clear your energy with yourself, when you clear, these old constraints, they just don't show up in any relationships. And so you get to show up in a relationship with your friends, with your family, with your partners, or partner, I should say, or partners. You get to show up authentically. You get to show up as you and not be as sensitive as you once were. All right, sending you so much love, and I will chat to you soon.